Hello, hello? You can hear me? All right, great. Sometimes I don't know if I can hear myself. I'm so glad that so many of y'all are continuing to have beautiful conversations, and I'm really sorry to be interrupting them. But Yate Abina, good morning. Yate Shakea, greetings to my relations. I really appreciate you being here today. My name is Aaron Slater, and my clans are Kia'ani, Naizidanet, Sinachini, and Sotdanet. I'm a member of the Navajo Nation, and here at Solve, I help to lead our U.S. equity and Indigenous communities work. It's really wonderful to be greeted by so many wonderful people today and so many smiling faces, having profound and beautiful conversations about how to make the world a better place by making our communities a better place, by supporting amazing innovators from around the globe. It is also wonderful to be greeted by rain this morning and the nourishing effects of that rain, and really thinking about what that means and the blessings that that means for our gathering here today. And so if you will indulge me, let's just take a moment and take a breath and breathe in that moisture, breathe in the rain and the blessings that it brings with it. Take a moment to breathe in the abundance that rain brings to us. Take a moment to breathe in the abundance that's in this room, whether it's the abundance of our contacts and a Rolodex, it's the abundance of the investments we can be making, the abundance of heart and passion that we all bring into this room. Just take a moment to pause and think about that. Thank you, I appreciate it. We're in New York City, hustle and bustle, things are going by. It's nice to take a moment and remember and to be thankful of the blessings that we have with us and the abundance that we have here in this room, not least of which the amazing Indigenous Community Fellows for this year. If you'll join me in giving them a round of applause. Yeah, thank you. And in just a moment, we're going to hear directly from them, but let's just pause and see how we got here. In 2023, we posed the question, how are Indigenous innovators in the US and Canada building upon traditional knowledge and technology to meet the social, environmental, and economic goals of their communities? We know for a fact that there are amazing Indigenous innovators from around the country and around the world who are doing impactful, amazing work. And then this year, it was our first year growing to be inclusive of Canadian Indigenous innovators as well, which we're incredibly excited to be crossing the medicine line and be doing more work to de-silo our Indigenous communities and work together. So yeah, thank you to our two new Canadian fellows for the first time. And as you can tell based off of this prompt, the center of the work that we are doing is about culturally grounded solutions and tech-enabled solutions that are supporting Indigenous communities in Canada and the United States. We received 158 submissions to this year's fellowship, which we're incredibly excited about. 1/3 of those solutions came from our relatives across the medicine line in Canada, and they represent over 100 unique Indigenous communities. 87% of our 2023 fellowship class are women-led solutions, a testament to the matriarchal societies we come from and the leadership roles Indigenous women have played for millennia. Additionally, 47% are nonprofit initiatives and 43% are at the growth stage, which is really, really fabulous. And these 7 Indigenous innovators, I am sure, will fill your heart. And I really want to say a special thank you to our fellowship leadership group who helped us with the challenging decision of who to select as our 7 amazing Indigenous innovators for this year. So if you are here and able, I would really love it if you could stand in appreciation and acknowledgement of you. Please. Thank you. As you can imagine, when we heard from Her Excellency Toyin earlier this morning, it's really hard to be a leadership group member. It's really hard to see all of these amazing initiatives and to select who will get to come up on the stage here. And so I really appreciate all the time and effort that they put in. And a special thank you to both Susan Alsner and Megan Smith, 2 of our co-founders of the fellowship. Now, without further ado, I'd like to announce the 2023 Indigenous Communities Fellows. Yeah, well, we is right. I love that. Up first, we'll be hearing from Stephanie Barone, from the Coalescence curriculum on carnivore coexistence. It is an amazing, amazing initiative, and I'm so thrilled to have her present to you today. Yeah, thank you.
In order for all of us to exist, we must all coexist. Sorry, I'm really nervous. The Coalescence curriculum on carnivore coexistence is unique in that it's a solution that serves not only the human community, but also the non-human community of the Flathead Indian Reservation in Northwest Montana. In Northwest Montana, the conservation efforts of the last 30 years have been very successful at returning large carnivores to the landscape. However, within the last 10 years, livestock owners have reported depredation occurrences at 4 times the rate of 2013. And in 2022 alone, $448,000 were lost because of human-carnivore conflict. Currently, over 32,000 people reside on the Flathead Indian Reservation. Living alongside those people are some 150 grizzly bears, several hundred black bears, 30 plus wolves, and an untold number of mountain lions. Further, within the last few years, the reservation has seen an influx of new residents to the area. And these individuals have not experienced living with large carnivores before. And so we've seen a significant increase in human-carnivore conflict, specifically around unsecured attractants such as garbage, chicken coops, and fruit trees. Our solution seeks to develop a learning platform where learners can learn to identify the scat, tracks, and sign of grizzly bear, mountain lion, wolf, and black bear, and where users can identify and assess the specifically relevant conflict prevention tool and technology based on their unique situation. Where users can listen and watch embedded video and audio recordings of Salish elders telling stories and singing songs, all while developing applicable skills, human-carnivore conflict applicable skills. And where they can identify and develop a new relationship with carnivores based on their conflict prevention success. And this is what we seek to create through the Coalescence platform. We want to foster learners who think creatively and critically when conflict occurs. Because as Indigenous innovators utilizing Indigenous methodologies and using culturally relevant knowledge, we recognize that a healthy and functioning human population relies on a functioning ecosystem. Our current needs and our team is actively seeking technical expertise in the areas of web design and software development. We're further seeking financial support to help fully cover the estimated $50,000 cost of developing the Coalescence platform. And finally, we're looking for any recommendations that you may have on trainings and webinars for our staff, as we recognize that there may be aspects to this curriculum transformation that we may not be aware of. We're all biologists by training, so. Our goal with this solution is to gift this resource to the Confederated Salish and Kootenai tribes of Northwest Montana. And we'll measure our success by gathering both qualitative and quantitative data. With this success, we hope to be able to work with future tribes, and through the partnerships that we're able to make here today and in the future, we can curate coexistence curriculums that are culturally relevant to each of our future partners. Because our goal is to create a society where we can coexist with carnivores. and by braiding the conflict prevention strategies cultivated by Indigenous people over the last 30,000 years with the technology of today, we can create more adaptive futures. Thank you.
Outstanding job. Thank you so much, Stephanie, and thank you for your essential work. Really appreciate it. And as you can tell, at the center of the work that she's doing, it is the combination of culturally grounded and tech-enabled solutions. Up next, we have Chantel Harrison from IDPPonics. Please welcome Chantel.
Hi, good morning. My name is Chantel Harrison, and I am a member of the Dene community. My clans are Batani, Nakaidene, Nopani, and Cholestini. I'm also the co-founder of IDPPonics, and this work stemmed from my previous work in nutrition and public health, where I served as a nutrition educator. But that work didn't feel meaningful, and I didn't feel like I was making an impact when our solution and our policies were based on, the simple solution of simply adding fresh fruits and veggies to our diets, when we know that that is not the case. Indigenous people do want to choose healthy foods, but the barrier to accessibility of culturally relevant foods is kind of the ongoing issue. So some of these challenges that we face throughout Turtle Island range from the cost of low quality produce, food mileage, and limited access to safe natural resources such as water and land that could be used for crop production. In addition, we have limited access to technology such as controlled environment agriculture, which overall inhibits our ability to continue to make health improvements in our communities. So at IDPPonics, we have a couple of different projects that we are focused on, and our work is, our values and our work are rooted in knowledge sharing in terms of providing technical support for tribes and communities. Our work is also focused on community empowerment through empowering communities to develop their own food systems to increase food access and food sovereignty efforts in their own communities. And the last kind of more important aspect to our project is that we are trying to work with tribes and organizations to create economic development opportunities to generate revenue that could be given back to the communities. So far we've received interest from individuals locally all the way up to tribal governments and educational institutions. We have different products and services that we are fine-tuning in our programs. And these are some of our examples of what we do. So we know that we need to help, we know that Indigenous communities need help in all aspects of controlled environment agriculture, from the layout design to actually incorporating traditional medicines and culturally relevant crops in their greenhouses. And so far we've had some great interest, ranging from local tribes in the Southwest all the way to communities in Alaska. And we have amazing partners locally in the Southwest that have supported us through providing grants and providing their networks with us. So we have a couple different business models that we are focused on, and we anticipate that it will transition through as our business grows. And our next phase of development is asking for support with business strategy, financial modeling, marketing strategy, and legal support so we can create MOUs to work with tribes. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Chantel. Really appreciate it. Your work is so appreciated. Up next, we have Lipoa from Makah Kik, Olelo, Hawaii, and please help me in welcoming her to the stage. Thank you.
Aloha mai kako. Come with me for the next 3 minutes to the island of Maui, Hawaii, to our community of Hana and our organization, Makah Kik. My name is Lipoa Kahale-Uahi, the executive director, and my team and I are products of the educational model I will be sharing with you. Hana is one of Hawaii's most underserved rural areas. To get there, you must drive 2 hours one way along a narrow, windy road subject to heavy visitor traffic, landslides, flooding, and even collapse. Rising costs of living and real estate, coupled with a lack of economic opportunity and low median household incomes, can make it difficult to live and stay here and preserve our ways of life, a vital part of our identity. 75% of Native Hawaiian youth in Hana are challenged by multiple risk factors, and 70% of them will graduate and most likely remain in our community. That's where Makah Kik comes in. Our mission means in working or doing one learns, and our mission is to provide our opportunity youth with a way to learn that makes sense to them, builds their self-esteem, and shows them they have the power to change their future. We comprise 4 main programs: Building, Mahele Farm, Mala Mahaloa, and Kahu'ai Pono. As our students struggled with math on paper and our population aged, our founder gave them tape measures and heavy equipment, often seen as very dangerous, and gave them projects such as ramps and railings for our elders. And you knew that by the end of their class, they could do fractions and high complex formulas. As a generation of our youth knew certain vegetables only came from a can, or certain cultural practices were only specialized or seen at cultural events for visitors, our Mahele Farm and Mala Mahaloa programs helped us to ground ourselves back in our cultural foods and many of the traditions that came along with them. And when our school, the only public school that serves our region, asked us to teach culinary, well, we had the educational approach, we had the food, and we had the confidence to do just that and more. Our solution is Makahana Ka'olelo Hawaii, which will take all of our programs and transform them to be taught in Hawaiian. That means our students will learn building and construction, agriculture, and culinary in our own language. Honed after 23 years of serving our community, this solution recognizes that our youth, like Aire or Nanea, learn best when given projects that provide Auntie with a home that she can age safely in, or food for their elders, and prepared meals that they've made in their culinary class. We are teaching the future construction workers, builders, chefs, entrepreneurs, and community leaders of Hana. Students in Hana that are learning in Hawaiian are currently in preschool through 7th grade. Next year, they'll be in our culinary class. In 2, they'll be able to apply for our apprenticeships. Supporting our solution will ensure that we have the ability to build capacity, have financial support, have legal support as well when necessary, and amplify our voice as a rural nonprofit. Hana is not only our community, but it is our piko, our source, our identity. Our solution will ensure that our youth have the tools necessary to navigate this modern world, still rooted in their identity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lupoa. Truly amazing work. Next, we have Danielle from Natives Rising. Please join me in welcoming Danielle to the stage.
Indigenous people have the highest rates of poverty in the US at over 25%, the lowest college graduation rates at 15%, and the highest rates for suicide indicate widespread emotional distress, making the other problems worse. Native sociologist Beth Redbird says that jobs are the #1 lever for economic opportunity for Indigenous people. As an Indigenous woman, I have firsthand experience of the statistics I've just explained and have personally transformed my life from those conditions. And so I know firsthand that a job in tech is what helped me do that, which is why I founded Natives Rising, a nonprofit that economically empowers Indigenous people through tech careers and entrepreneurship. I'm Danielle Forward, the CEO and co-founder. Before Natives Rising, I was building products at Facebook for almost 5 years. I am a trained belief change coach and hypnotherapist, and a board member for MuralNet, a nonprofit that improves internet access on Native reservations. My co-founder, Betsy, is the first Native woman to raise a Series A round from venture capital. And our head of strategic initiatives, Zach Oxendine, is a cyber security engineer at Microsoft and a co-lead for their Indigenous employee resource group. We use the Three Sisters method for social innovation, applying an ancient indigenous growing method to create an economic empowerment ecosystem. Our 3 programs, the Founders Circle, Women in Tech Fellowship, and our STEM Camp events all thrive together better than they could on their own. In terms of scalability, the Bureau of Labor estimates that tech jobs will have outsized growth in the next 10 years. And the Biden administration alone just committed $1.4 billion to STEM education and workforce development. We have already proven that in 5 days, we can significantly increase confidence and interest in entrepreneurship and technology careers for Indigenous students, especially our women and girls. If you'd like to support our work, please send us connections, partnerships, press coverage, anyone you think who would be interested in supporting our mission. And also, of course, funding. The more funding we have, the more people we can hire, and the more we can scale our impact. Thank you so much for this tremendous opportunity. With your help, we can continue to help even more Indigenous people and show them what's possible. Thank you.
Amazing job. Thank you once again. And up next, we have Amanda from Shawish Market. Amanda, please join us on stage, and please join me in welcoming her.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda, and I am the founder of Shawish, the virtual Indigenous marketplace. As a proud member of the Wesco Maliseet First Nation, I am passionate about supporting Indigenous entrepreneurs. While working with Indigenous communities, I noticed that there were so many talented Indigenous artists that the general public was unaware of. Drawing from my business background, I also understood that hidden fees could be the death of a small enterprise. It became clear to me that these artists deserve greater recognition and support, which led to the creation of Shawish. I envisioned a platform where entrepreneurs would be able to create their own shops and upload their own unique items. The website would feature thousands of authentic Indigenous handmade goods, empowering customers to support Indigenous artists directly. Unlike other marketplaces, Shawish would not charge vendors a monthly fee or transaction fee, making it affordable for them. Shawish was successfully launched in August 2022. Within 1 year, we've had over 100 Indigenous vendors apply, gained over 5,000 Instagram followers, and made over $18,000 in revenue. At Shawish, we are committed to incorporating Indigenous ways of knowing into our platform by actively listening to our vendors and incorporating feedback from the communities we serve. In the response to the suggestion of elders, we implemented the trade feature, which is a cornerstone of Indigenous culture, into our marketplace. Indigenous people have played roles as hunters, gatherers, artists, and entrepreneurs since the dawn of time. However, the devastating effects of colonialism and years of suppression have made it incredibly challenging for Indigenous communities to flourish in today's society. At Shawish, our mission statement is to help small Indigenous businesses thrive across Turtle Island. We also aim to address the issue of culture appropriation, as many large companies profit off of Indigenous-inspired work, often at the expense of the local artists. To tackle this problem, we verify each vendor, ensuring that every purchase made on the website is directly benefiting an Indigenous artist. Now, let's talk about scalability. Currently, we do not charge vendors a fee, but we do charge customers a 7% transaction fee to cover our maintenance expenses. In the near future, we plan to develop paid features such as additional customization options or promotional tools. So my original last name was Shawish, but when my ancestors were forced to change their names, they decided on the last name Bernard, because at that time, that was their favorite priest in the community. So to honor my ancestors, I named the marketplace Shawish. I'm eager to draw upon MIT's community's knowledge in human resources, including HR hiring strategies and HR manual development. I'm also looking for expert advice on how to increase my sales, build a sustainable business model, and improve my current web design or build an app. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. About halfway through these introductions to our community. How is everybody feeling? Are you feeling inspired so far? Me too, me too. I would shout if I didn't have this on. I don't often find opportunities to get excited about banking, and this next solution will get you very excited about banking as well. Please join me in welcoming Amber from Totem to the stage. Thank you.
Halito! Sa hochifo ya Amber Bucher, chatasia hoki. Hello, my name is Amber Bucher. I'm Choctaw, and I'm the founder and CEO of Totem, the only digital bank by and for Indigenous people. We exist to correct the inequities that the financial system creates for the 11.1 million Native American, Hawaiian, and Alaskan Natives in the US. And these inequities stem largely from the racism of invisibility. It's an invisibility that I've experienced myself. The first time I tried to buy a home, my tribe offered a down payment assistance program, but my banker refused to help me access it. And she also neglected to tell me that I should have had access to Section 184 loans, which would have had a lower down payment in the first place. It pushed my home buying journey back by years, and it was really painful to think that if I had just had a bank that understood what it is to be Native and what these tribal benefits were that were provided by my nation, things could have gone really differently. So I got curious, and I started digging, and as it turns out, Natives are 8 times more likely to be unbanked than white Americans. And there are a host of reasons for that, everything from geography to credit and visibility, and even just boring old banking policies that don't hurt most people, but when understood through the lived experience of our people, create barriers to accessing financial services. So I did just about the craziest thing anyone can do at this point and decided to raise millions of dollars and build a company to solve this for myself and my community. Luckily, a Native sister introduced me to the folks at Raven Indigenous Capital Partners. They led our pre-seed round, which we closed in the fall, making me only the second Indigenous woman in the US to raise a multi-million-dollar venture round. I'm proud to say that Gary's here, and so is Jeff. He's one of their portfolio companies, so find them. I'm proud to say that we used those funds to build Totem, and we launched our consumer apps nationwide this summer. But now it is time for the next step in our journey, where we have a huge opportunity to become the leading provider of indigenized banking and payments for tribes and their people. See, most tribes are still dispersing benefits using paper checks and expensive extractive prepaid cards. So we're providing an opportunity for them to disperse those benefits that we're entitled to through safe, simple ACHs into Totem accounts. We'll save even small tribes hundreds of thousands of dollars each year and keep more money in the Native community. But we need your help to do it. There are 3 things that you can help us do. First, you can support our extension round, which we're currently raising. We'll close that just before the holidays. We love working with impact investors, and also folks that have early stage fintech experience are very helpful. We are also scaling very quickly, so if you have advice on how to do that in a tech setting, or if you know anyone who wants to become a mobile engineer or marketer for a mission-led company, please introduce us. And last and most importantly, we can't do this work without strong communities, so we need your connections. Now, odds are maybe most of the people in this room do not know a tribal leader necessarily, but that doesn't mean that you don't know people that are helpful for us. Think about economic development divisions, the USDA, the Treasury Department, the Department of Interior, government agencies, or elected officials that serve heavily Native areas. Think of university systems. All of these are designed to serve Indigenous communities, and you probably know someone that's got a good proximity to one of them. So if you have any of those things or just want to learn more about our work, we would love to talk to you. We appreciate the opportunity to share our story as we work to decolonize banking and build a new tradition of Native wealth. Makah Kik.
Amazing job, and thank you so much for your essential work. Up next, we have Noden from Wesco. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage. Thank you.
I'm Noden Cutfeet, the founder of Wesco. Once launched, Wesco will enable Indigenous youth to learn digital art and coding skills online while sharing their work, expressing themselves, and collaborating by remixing each other's creations. Meet Ahanu, recently graduated from high school. They're uncertain about their future as their classes didn't help them find their passions and made them doubt their abilities. Ahani spends a lot of their free time online, but doesn't post much and is disheartened by the lack of Indigenous representation and the algorithm's tendency to promote bigoted content. After discovering Wesco at a free in-person art workshop, Ahanu passionately continues to work on their new project from home, supported by the free tutorials and existing work of others. Ahanu never thought they'd be interested in learning to code, but found themselves motivated by the self-expressive communal nature of Wesco. By utilizing existing pixel art assets made by other youth on the platform, each youth can take their project further than they could have alone. Ahanu shares their finished project to Wesco, finding joy in contributing to an inclusive online community full of Indigenous youth. Through experimenting with various skill sets on Wesco, youth like Ahanu can gain passion or find their passions, gain confidence in their abilities, and build foundational knowledge in different fields related to post-secondary and freelance careers. As more Indigenous people learn tech skills, build confidence, and gain access to post-secondary, the faster we can achieve technological and representational self-determination. Wesco will earn revenue through seed grants, advertising, and partnerships with organizations hosting workshops for Indigenous youth. Indigenous youth in their teens and 20s can sign up for free online. Early on, running workshops will help to onboard Indigenous youth, helping us to reach the tipping point where usership begins to spread organically by word of mouth and via projects being shared online, helping us to reach the nearly 1 million Indigenous youth in the US and Canada. After launching Wesco, our twin organization, AHASIC, will launch a rebranded offshoot for a broader demographic. AHASIC will fund the development of additional features that Wesco can use for free, leaving Wesco with free resources that it can use to create curriculum and resources specific to an Indigenous context. We are an Indigenous team of artists, makers, educators, and shakers with experience handling the bureaucracy of colonial institutions, and we are always looking for new Indigenous board members and a development team. Now, with the support of Solve, we'll have expert advice in marketing, law, accounting, and growing our team. Thank you.
Amazing job. Thank you so much, Noden. Just imagine, I think about when I was young, if I had a class like that where I could go online and create art for my own people and share it with some of my other relatives from around the country, where would I be right now? I would have the technical proficiency of like a 90s hacker from a blockbuster movie. You know what I mean? It's just really amazing. So happy. Now, I guess we can get to that in just a second. But now, for those of you who were here at the beginning, you heard me thinking about and trying to invoke the blessings of the rain that we had and thinking about the abundance that we have in this room. Now you see how much abundance we have in 7 people alone. I'd now also like to invoke the rain again and think about the blessing that it is, and think about how we can emulate the rain. How is it that we can participate in this community today and help nourish these outstanding Indigenous innovators? What is the abundance that you have come here today with? And how is it that we can be transferring that on this afternoon as we meet with one another and we sit in community for the very first time, and for others reconvening with happy friends? And just really think about that. What is my position here to be able to lend this helping hand, and not only to these outstanding innovators, but to those who are in all of our communities, whether it's health, learning, et cetera. And so we took a breath at the beginning. Let's take a breath now and think both about abundance and think about the rain and the blessings that it can bring. Thank you so much for your presence. I do not take it for granted that we are here together. We are here supporting amazing Indigenous innovators of excellence. And we are here to create new relationships, new partnerships, and new roads for all of our communities to be better and to create a bright, beautiful, and prosperous future. Yeah, thank you so much. Now we have the fun slide. Um, so this is a snapshot of what the rest of the day looks like, but right now you can get up, you can stretch, and we'll have these beautiful tables and a few that are out there in the lobby as well. And it's an opportunity for us to get to know each other a little bit better and get to know these really outstanding Indigenous innovators. And so in just a moment, they'll go take to their tables. And please, if you're waiting in line to talk to them, introduce yourself to somebody that you don't know and think about that beauty of abundance that we have in this room. Now, before we go, please join me in standing to recognize these unbelievable Indigenous innovators of excellence in a warm round of applause. Yeah, now let's get to know them.